Hey, how's it going, everyone? Mark here from Australia. Um, just wanted to have a bit of a talk about the energy crisis in Australia at the moment. Um, I'm over at my place in the Philippines, beachfront place. It's very beautiful. I'm living the dream at the moment. Got a bit of a place here, a bit of a spin around. I don't know if you can see, but I'm right on the water. Little bit of paradise, really nice. Um, I'd, I'd be in Australia, but I can't afford to live there. Um, I work in mining as well, and I pump out the big weeks, 84-hour weeks every week, and I still can't afford to live there. I don't know how anyone can afford to live there. There's no, unless you're a property owner in Australia, you're never going to own property because it's just ridiculous. The price of property, it's crazy, and they've opened the floodgates and just importing, you know, well, hundreds and thousands to millions of people into Australia that doesn't have a big population, and it's just boosting up all of the prices for real estate. So it's hard to even rent a place anywhere in Australia. It's over the top, and well, so that's going on absolutely. And one of the reasons that it's so expensive in Australia is because of our energy prices and our fuel prices. Now, I work in mining, and sometimes I talk to my other American and English friends, and even people in Australia, they wouldn't even believe the scope of mining that's going on in Western Australia specifically, but obviously there's mining all around Australia, but the scope of the mining in Western Australia is beyond massive. Somebody said to me that we've got half the world's mining going on in Australia. I'm not sure if that's true, but it wouldn't surprise me because I've worked in some massive mines, and mainly iron ore I've worked in, iron ore and coal, but I've worked in other mines as well. And I've done a lot of work in the gas pipeline industry as well. And Australia has all the most unbelievable amounts of high quality gas, and we take it out the ground and we give it away for next to nothing, mainly to China, but other countries as well, but mainly to China. And good for China because they're obviously smart. They're not completely stupid like our leaders are. Our leaders are nothing but just self-reaching lawyers, corrupt lawyers. Doesn't matter what government's in there; it's just the same. Two arms of corruption. Of course, there's some good eggs in there. Some good people in there trying to do the right thing, but the red tape in the politics won't allow anything to happen. It's controlled by the banks and the World Health Organization and the new global warming bullshit, which is all the biggest hoax ever. And not to say that global warming isn't it doesn't exist. I'm not to say that global pollution exists, and it's obviously a terrible thing. We've got to look after our planet for the sake of everyone. But there's no global warming going on. There's no sea rises rising up. In Australia, there's no like ecosystems dying off. If anything, um, I know the Great Barrier Reef in Australia recorded its biggest ever growth spurt, I think, a couple of years ago. And I read one article that Antarctica had shown so much more volume of ice over there, so-called winter, even though it's always winter in Antarctica, but there's just no global warming going on. There's no sea rises happening. I went to the same place, where I've been for the same 10 years. The water hasn't risen up. It's not happening. But even if it is, even if some people want to say that, for argument's sake, that, yeah, of course there is some damage being done for from pollutants and everything into the atmosphere, into our waters. Of course, that it's got a. I'm not sure if it's global warming, but it's doing harm to our environment for sure. So I'm all for protecting our environment. But getting back to the global warming, getting back to the mining where I am, we've got the biggest mining projects in Australia. On the earth, we have the biggest projects on the earth. We've got trains for kilometres long, just running all day, everywhere, just taking coal, mainly coal, pipelines for gas, but taking coal to the ships, filling up the biggest ships on the planet, taking all the coal to other countries so they can burn coal, and taking the gas to other countries so they can burn the gas and use the gas for all of their energy needs. And at the same time, we could run Australia all on gas and coal, because the coal grade in Australia is at the highest level of coal, and the same with the gas, it's at the highest, cleanest levels of gas as well. So as far as using, what do they call it? Or coal and gas, it's of the highest standards of that. So it's not dirty coal, and it's not dirty gas with other. It's very pure in both instances. Um, so we export half of the world's coal and gas, let's just say that, to other countries, mainly China. And China, over the last 30 years, because they've made these decisions, have able to become a world leader and obviously, even if it's a communist country, obviously they're doing great things over there because they're becoming world leaders in so many different, areas and directions that good on them, like that someone's over there fighting for their country. But here in Australia, we pay the highest prices for energy in the world and the highest prices for fuel in the world. So all of our businesses just get absolutely raped by the government through through ridiculous regulations, through overtaxing, through just not allowing us to use our own resources. It's okay for us to send our resources to other countries and the other countries can use them, but we're not allowed to use our own resources because some crazy people have got this idea of net zero going on when there's a billion Chinese people and there's a billion Indian peoples that are just burning coal, burning gas, burning whatever they can to heat themselves and to make electricity because they're allowed to do it because there's only billions of them. But in Australia, I think we have about 30 million people, which is the tiniest fraction of billions, obviously, and they screw us to the wall with the highest. We've got to sacrifice all of our. We work hard all day, every day, and they tax hell out of us. The prices are through the roof on coal and energy. Oh well, we're not allowed to use coal because that'd just be too cent. How how? Of course, we can't use our own coal. We'll ship that to other countries so other people can use it because that just makes heaps more sense. They can have cheap energy, and we'll start solar panel farms, which are ridiculous, in the long run because of their environmental problems. But everyone is in Australia has just had enough of the governments there, and yeah, that's about it. So if there's global warming or not, like this one YouTube speaker said, it's like So if Australia goes down to net zero and we don't use any coal or any gas and no fuel in our cars, it would not make, I think it'd probably make about not even 1% of the global emissions that are coming out because we've got such a small population. So why would a small population that has all the resources fall on the sword of global warming to sacrifice themselves so that other countries that have got billions of people can then um, have access to cheap, reliable energy? It's crazy. Someone's got to overthrow the Australian government, all of them. And, mate, if I had my way, I'd take them out back and hang them up because they're just the stupidest, most corrupt people you could ever come across. And I understand you get corruption in governments around the world. I'm actually in the Philippines, and they're always talking about the corruption over here, but I don't see that level of corruption going on where where there's just billions of tons of coal being outsourced to other countries, and then we pay top dollar for our energy. Crazy, crazy world we're living in down there in Australia, that's for sure. No one's going to survive through this unless they start making some real changes to back to people there, to back to worker, to give us tax breaks, to bring down the price of property. You can't even build a property because the councils will be giving all sorts of regulations. There's a housing crisis going on. No one can have a house, but you're not allowed to build one either. Because you you, you need all their permission to be able to do it. It's just it's just gone too far with all the insurance companies running the country and the banks running the country and the politicians that own 20, 30 houses each running the country. So, yeah, and all the businesses have to pay top dollar for all their energy and their fuel, and that all just gets passed on to the user. And then on top of that, Australia's got probably so much of the best agricultural land in the world as well. We do massive amounts of agriculture. All our food should be next to nothing, but once again, we pay all the highest prices in the world for food. It's just there's just something deeply wrong and deeply corrupt about the whole thing. Anyway, I hope you can share with me your opinions down below. I'd love to learn more about the subject, and I'd love to learn where I'm wrong about it too. Um, I'm only a mine worker, advanced construction worker. I'm uh, I'm not one of these lawyers running the country, that's for sure. Sometimes I swear I do a better bloody job though. But yeah, no worries. Thanks for listening in. Uh, Catch you again next time.